Hello and welcome to the show, Studio Talent Collective. Now, today I'm talking about shiny things. Beware of shiny things. Now, I am no stranger to being distracted and pulled in by all the shiny things. So today is really just about why it's important to stay focused, even though those shiny things can be quite alluring, but also when to know when a shiny thing is a shiny thing, because there are great ideas and you can do new things. So we're not ruling that out, friends. We're not ruling that out. But, have you ever just launched something new? You felt really excited, and then you've realized 6 months later, like it's just not landed? Or you thought this was such an amazing idea, but you've really got zero capacity to execute it properly. So, this episode is a little self call out uh, on me, and maybe it'll be yours too. Maybe it'll be yours too. Now, I'm a little tired today. I woke up at 4 a.m. screaming because this is gross, guys, but I had a cockroach in my bed crawling on my arm. Now, we don't see many cockroaches around my property, but the time I do, it happens to be in my bloody bed on my arm. I started screaming at 4 a.m. My family all comes in, the kids, my son is scared, blah, blah, blah. And I felt bad about that because it's like, it's okay, it's just a cockroach. And then my husband killed it. And then I'm like, I cannot go back in that bed now. So ended up on the couch. Remembered I had booked in a 6:30 a.m. walk with a friend, my friend Jo. Her name's Jo as well. I'm Jo, she's Jo. And we go walking each week together once a week. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to walk with her at 6:30. And then, yeah, it was a mess. So I'm a little bit tired, but I had to bring you this episode because I was tempted this week with shiny things. So no matter how many years I do business, no matter how many years I do this, how focused I get, how streamlined I get, shiny things are so alluring sometimes. So let's talk about it.
I'm Josephine Lancuba. Welcome to Studio Talent Collective, the podcast for dance and performing arts studio owners. Let's leap in.
Welcome to the show as we are going to talk about being aware and to beware of shiny things today. So, what are shiny things? What are shiny things? Well, exciting new opportunities, projects, maybe ideas. Maybe you want to follow a trend, something that, a trend that could feel really urgent right now. It's exciting, it's super exciting, but it can pull you away from your core priorities and your long-term vision. So, yeah, I had an opportunity this week, and opportunities come all the time, right? But I had an opportunity this week to potentially collaborate with some people on a project, and it didn't end up happening. And it was probably a really good thing because honestly, I have a great annual plan this year. I've already introduced new products and services. For example, like literally just this month, we've rolled out our talent toolkit, which is a product for all of our agency talent, like our photo shoots and video audition tip technique video, blah, 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 all packaged. So that's already a product that we've rolled out. And that's a big job, because we represent over 540 talent at the moment. So that's a huge job. So I have to remain focused on that in itself. And also, I rolled out the Green Room, which is the social club for studio owners and performing arts industry leaders. If you haven't heard about that one, I'll pop a link in the show notes for you to check that one out. Check out the Green Room. But, that's already two new things. Now, those things are completely aligned to what I do and my offer. I've got the Studio Talent Collective, the talent agency. So that all makes sense, right? It's all pathways leading to talent agency. The green room is essentially bringing people into my world, connecting with community, having conversations, even if talent management isn't on the radar, that's okay. But it's still like an industry-based service. And then, the talent toolkit made sense because it's a product for the talent. We didn't have a product for talent. So that all makes sense and that's aligned to the agency. But honestly, anything kind of outside of that, I'm just not going to really have time and capacity for when I really think about it. So I was nearly pulled into something, which, and by the way, beautiful people, beautiful opportunity. It all sounded really great, but like an international sort of community group opportunity, all sounds awesome. But in hindsight, yeah, I guess that's a bit of a shiny thing right now because I'm so hyper focused on what I'm already growing. Now, you're probably seeing this sort of stuff happen in your own business, in your own life. Usually you'll feel excited. So, you'll feel excited. It feels time sensitive. So you feel like that particular thing, that offer, that program, it's going to fix everything. But often it can actually dilute your focus. So for me, I think shiny things really equals those exciting opportunities or projects, ideas, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's that dilution that we need to really be mindful of. So like I said, it can look like a multitude of things in a studio business. It could be new programs, it could be new offers, it could be new platforms or tech. Even that can be a shiny thing. Like, oh my God, we've got to change our software to this new thing because that's awesome. It's got all the bells and whistles. What I've heard from some of my studio clients is when they do change software, they do it at a time that's not actually where they have capacity to learn the software and they end up sitting on it, some of them for over a year, paying for a software program that they're not even using because they don't have the brain space to use it while they're still paying for the old software because it was a shiny thing and it all sounded great at the time, even though the current software might be working for them. It can be new partnerships. So that is the thing that I kind of saw as a shiny thing this week that, yeah, and that didn't come to fruition, which, is a blessing in some ways, but partnerships, absolutely. Trend chasing. This is absolutely a thing. This is absolutely a thing. So, for example, I think there's nothing wrong with following a trend for something that can bring engagement. K-pop, for example, big trend. And so what we saw, and I actually say, and I've said to many, like follow trends, like absolutely do follow the trends. If it's going to make you money and get you, customers or income, but be mindful of how you follow a trend. So, for example, K-pop Demon Hunters, I made a suggestion a couple of months ago when that was hot, to my clients and on socials. I kind of made a declaration that this is a trend that you need to follow. Run a K-pop Demon Hunters school holiday workshop. Now that makes sense because it's a short-term project, it's an injection of cash, it's hot right now. Yes, follow that trend. But then to say, we're going to now implement K-pop Demon Hunter themed programs in our studio and write this whole new curriculum, you know, that's a different kettle of fish. So, and I guess the point is be mindful of the trends you chase or how you chase them. How you chase a trend is critical. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it because they absolutely are powerful. Like Wicked, when Wicked was hot, doing musical theatre, mock auditions for Wicked or whatever. Like, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just be mindful how we chase the trends. And also, how far away are you chasing the trends? Like, if you're chasing the trend 6 to 12 months after it was a trend, then like, don't waste your time. Rebranding constantly. I will say I have rebranded this podcast 3 times. It started out as, what was it? I can't even think, business arts and all that jazz. And then it was studio biz and all that jazz. And now it's Studio Talent Collective. Now, I'm not going to lie, I wasted a lot of time in the early days. I had myself branded as Josephine Lancuba, and that was the website, josephinelancuba.com. It was very much focused around personal branding, which I then later changed to Studio Talent Collective. So, look, there's also a learning curve with branding. I'm not saying don't rebrand, but rebranding constantly. I remember when I had my performing arts studio. I did waste a lot of time rebranding my preschool program. So when I first opened my studio, it was Next Move. Then I called it Next Move Studios, and then later it became Musical Makers Club, which I sold 18 months ago to a lovely teacher, which is beautiful. But we had a preschool program, and oh my God, the reiterations of that program. And I'd go all in too. That was my problem as well. Like sometimes if you chase a shiny thing, but you go all in every single time, like I got the logo, I paid someone for the thing, I did the thing. I think we called it Itsy Bitsy Dances for the preschool. So it was Itsy Bitsy Dances. And then it started off as preschool dance and it was Itsy Bitsy Dances. And then it was called Mini Movers. And then it was called something else. I can't, Mini Stars. And like honestly, just choose a bloody name and stick to it, eh? Like, and I would rebrand it literally with logos and this and that. And like, it got a little crazy, not gonna lie. So I really spent so much energy rebranding a program that had hardly anyone in it at the time because this was the early days of my studio. This was before I knew all the things and learnt the hard knocks of studio life and learned how to actually market my business and grow it, which we did. We did. We ended up with a thriving business, but those early days I was so focused on all this nonsense, all this nonsense. So I was rebranding constantly. Starting before finishing something else. Yeah, starting before finishing something else. So right now, like I said, I'm rolling out two new things. I've got the green room and I've got the talent toolkit. So the talent toolkit is an in-house offer. The green room is a public offer for studios. So to start a new project right now, which is something I was contemplating, I'll admit that, would be crazy. Like I haven't fully like even implemented and solidified my current rollouts, right? So, starting too many things at once is hard too. Like, you want to implement a tap program, a musical theatre program, you want to go to Disneyland and go on an excursion and do all the things. But like trying to do them all at once, that's when 90-day planning is really powerful because then you can say, look, we're going to map this out over the year and then we're going to structure it into 90-day pathways. Yeah, sure. But just to go, we're going to do it all. Woo, 10 new programs, roll it out, roll it out, roll it out. Like it's wild, it's wild. Yeah. So yeah, starting before finishing something else. Another way you can identify something that's shiny is saying yes before, oh, sorry, saying yes because of excitement, not strategy. This is a big one. And look, I get the urge sometimes. I get the urge, but sit on things just for a beat before saying yes. Just sit on it for a beat. Yeah. Look, we're creative brains. We know that. We're creative brains and we're entrepreneurial and we're natural creators, right? We're in the performing arts. We're natural creators. So I get it. And it gives you that amazing dopamine hit. Like when you have that new idea, you feel productive, even when they're actually, sometimes it's a procrastination from the harder, longer term work. Sometimes we go into this new idea all excited and productive because we're trying to avoid the boring business parts that are actually moving the needle. Sometimes people say a boring business is a good business. Now, I'm not saying you can't inject fun and excitement, but staying the course, playing the long game, sticking to it, you know, following the strategy, implementing it, checking the list each week and doing the tasks that move the needle, those sales tasks, those marketing tasks, those revenue generating tasks, those upsell tasks, like those things that need to be done each and every week, allocating that time. It can feel boring, but what's not boring is a filled bank account with happy customers. So, staying the course. But yeah, that dopamine hit is real. And I know it because I'm like succumb to it sometimes. Sometimes I have to take a step back and go, okay, am I doing this because it's actually going to be a great strategy? or I'm just excited about the idea. Ideas, everyone can have an idea. Everyone can have a good idea, but not everyone can make those ideas a business. And so be mindful because your time is precious. I definitely don't want you to make decisions based on fear. So that's for sure. Fear-based decision making. That's a super pitfall when it comes to, these shiny things that we need to avoid. So shiny things can absolutely be led by fear-based decision making. So the fear of missing out, FOMO. They're doing it down the road. We're not doing it. Maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Maybe that doesn't suit your business model. Maybe that's not your who you serve. Like, who cares what people down the road are doing? Fear of missing out. Fear competitors will do it first. Yeah, fear that competitors will do it first, even if it's not the right fit for you. Fear of being left behind. So this can be a bit of an identity trap. So, sometimes launching something new feels like growth, but actually it's avoidance of refining what already works. So, finding out what really already works in your business, create a list. What's working for you right now, and how can we double down on that? What isn't working for you? And, is it time to remove them? Remove and delete those things from the timetable, from your schedule, from your product list, from your service list. Double down on what's working. I remember when I first started my dance studio, and I actually was running my studio for a couple of years, and I bought another studio location, all that jazz. And yeah, I mean, we were a traditional dance studio. Funnily enough, though, my musical theatre program was bustling the most, and people loved us for the musical theatre program. To the point where I had some of our dance customers saying that, we put so much attention into the musical theatre program, but not the dance program. And you know what? It was true. It was true. And the numbers weren't even, yeah, the numbers were in the musical theatre side of the business. So eventually I had to say, you know what? Let's niche right down and become a musical theatre studio. And that's what we did. So we became Musical Makers Club. And again, that business is now sold. I'm no longer the owner. And I've got, a beautiful teacher that purchased it 18 months ago. And I like to say that because it is no longer mine. But I do love, because I live in the area of there's 4 locations. And I live in the area of one of the locations, and like I'll see like kids down at the shops wearing the t-shirt with the logo that I created and the brand that I created, and I see their socials and I see all the stuff happening, and I just think, it's kind of cool. There's a bit of legacy in that. I think, oh, how amazing. Like I created this thing. I spent 10 years developing this, and now it still lives on. Pretty cool, right? But yeah, I digress. That identity trap, again, it's like you feel like it's growth. You feel like launching something new or creating something new is growth. But yeah, it can be avoidance. It can be avoidance. So what's the real cost of shiny things? What is the real cost to you and your business? The real cost is diluted results. Nothing gets the full attention it needs. Marketing messages become confusing. Customers don't know what you're known for. I remember back in the day when I did offer all the things. I mean, we even had hula hoop classes. Like we had hula hoop workshops. We had dance, ballet, tap, musical theater, all this stuff. It was drumming classes. Like it was mental. And I remember someone came to my website and put a website inquiry, and they said, "Hey, I'm just a little confused. I'm looking for classes for this, but I'm not exactly sure what you do." That's when I knew I had a real problem. My brand messaging was a total mess. And I was doing too many things. I had my fingers in too many pies. And truthfully, I wasn't even paying myself at that time, and I wasn't getting those results. It wasn't till I deleted, refined, strategized, stopped chasing shiny things, stopped chasing shiny things. That's when it all started coming together. So when I stopped chasing shiny things in my business, I became more profitable, more successful, and our numbers grew. Okay, our numbers grew. Um, Honestly, the cost of chasing shiny things can be a complete capacity drain. You're overwhelming the team. You're burning yourself out. You're burning you out. Your resources are stretched too thin. You simply don't have them as a small business. Your execution quality drops. Half-built programs or things that you said you were going to do and then you just don't deliver to the quality that you know you can deliver at. Rushed releases of services. So, you were going to do like a 3-week marketing campaign leading up, registering interest, running a free workshop. But then because you don't have capacity, you don't do any of that and you just drop the new program without any lead in or hype, and no one shows up to the trial or 2 people because you've literally done nothing to prepare for it because you didn't have capacity because you're doing too many things. Also, the opportunity cost, this is the biggest one. Every shiny thing you chase is time not spent scaling what already works. I'm going to say that again. When you chase shiny things, there is an opportunity cost. And this is the biggest thing. Every shiny thing you chase is time not spent scaling what already works in your studio business. Yeah? That's the pitfall, and I know it really well. I've been pretty good, but yeah, it still comes at me. It still comes at me every now and then, and it's something I work on and I avoid, but I also recognize it. And I'm not saying don't like sometimes you got to do a shiny thing, but put it in a strategy, map it out on the calendar, know when it's the right time to launch. Don't get excited and drop it now. Yeah, think about when is it actually the right time to do this? How much lead time do you have? What will it cost you to launch properly? And do you need support? Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that scattergun approach, that momentum is totally scattered. It can be emotional for sure when you like something, when you're excited about something. But that excitement, that initial excitement can then lead to overwhelm, frustration, and regret. Yeah. So we want to reset that. We want to reset that. Because yeah, sometimes it does feel urgent, but it's super not aligned. So ask yourself this. This is a question I want you to ask yourself. Does this serve my long-term vision or does it just excite me right now? Does this serve my long-term vision? Does this shiny thing serve my long-term vision or does it just excite me now? If it serves your long-term vision, like I said, I created the green room this month. I created last month. I created the talent toolkit. They served my long-term vision, so I knew it was right and it was time to roll it out. But other things, other collaborations, other concepts didn't really, and so yeah, they weren't aligned. They weren't the right fit. So I guess the big thing is. Shiny things often appear when sales feel uncomfortable, systems need improving, or you need to refine instead of create. So if you're currently in that slump where you feel like, oh, I've got to clean up the system, or I got to improve that program and write a curriculum, or I've got to refine the thing that I'm going to roll out, or I'm really feeling icky about selling the thing that I've already got. Like if all of that's coming to your mind, then that's probably you. That's a clear sign that I would even say that's a red flag that this shiny thing may not be the right fit or the right time. Now, what can we do with shiny things that are great ideas, but it's not the right time now? I have a list. I save it in a Trello board. It can be a Google Doc, it can be a piece of paper. I have a list and they're my ideas babies. Yeah. And sometimes idea babies go on the list to die. And other times I revisit the list. Every 90 days, I revisit my ideas list and I have a look and I see if there's anything that sparks me, especially on my annual plan. I'll have a look and I'll go, you know what? It's time. It's time. This feels good. This idea makes sense this year. Let's map it out. Let's strategize it. Let's put it on the annual plan. But yeah, absolutely. Good ideas do go to die on the list, and that's okay too. But writing it down in itself feels good. So I would have somewhere, a place, one space, whether it's a digital space or a hard copy space. I prefer digital. I use, like I said, a Trello board where I put my ideas in a list and I just do it and I don't overdo it. I literally just write what the idea is, maybe the basic concept, and that's it. And then I can release it from my mind and move on with the work at hand. The work at hand that is going to generate my income, move the needle in my business, and grow. Sometimes ideas need resources and income to support them. So you might go, you know what? When we are earning this much in the business, I can then go and do that shiny thing. But it's not random, is what I'm trying to get at. Because if it sits randomly in your business, that that's probably a shiny thing flag. Anyway, guys, if you don't have capacity, time, money, team, energy, then it's not the right time to pursue the shiny thing. Ideas don't fail because they're bad. They fail because they're under-resourced. Every idea can be a good idea. Well, some better than others, but usually they're just under-resourced. So, how do we decide if something is worth jumping into? Okay, this is the shiny filter. All right, here we go. 5 questions. Does this support my core business or distract from it? If it strengthens your main offer, it's a good sign. If it competes with it, it's a warning sign. So that's question number 1. This is your shiny filter. Does this support my core business or distract from it? Number 2, does it serve my existing audience? So even if it's a new concept, it has to serve your existing audience, just like the green room, totally new concept. It's not about, talent management, servicing studio owners in creating talent management services. It's not about that. It is a social club for studio owners who want to connect, converse, and build community around them. And that's where I believe transformation happens, in those conversations, right? Well, I know so from my own experience and my clients' experiences, but that's why I created the green room. Now, and by the way, if you're interested in the green room, guys, that link is in the show notes. Do check it out. But it does serve my existing audience. It may be a slightly different offer, but it is same in regards to my audience, because growth usually comes from going deeper with your current people, not constantly chasing new ones. Now, it's not to say you can't have a couple of cohorts. I have 2 cohorts that I work with. I've got the studio owners, right? And then I've got the talent who are within our agency. And that is why I've created a product for the talent toolkit. So, I'm servicing 2 cohorts, but I'm very clear on that. Yeah, I've got a plan. I know what my ascension model looks like. I know how to reach those people within my cohorts. So that's number 2. Does it serve my existing audience? Number 3, do I have capacity to do this well? Do I have capacity to do this well? Can I squeeze it in? But can I resource it properly? Maybe you can squeeze it in, but can you actually do it? Number 4, does this align with my long-term vision? This is a big one. I've got studio owners that have been thinking about creating in-house talent management services for years, and they just never hit the go button. And then when they do, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm loving it. Because it was part of their long-term vision. Sometimes you do need to jump in. You need to jump in on the long-term vision and create. But yeah, does this align to your long-term vision? Is this something you want to build in your studio long term? Then yes, do it. If not, then maybe not. And then number 5, so that was number 4. And number 5, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? So this is like your leadership clarity. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? So let me recap how to decide if something is worth jumping into. So these are the questions for our shiny filter. Number one, does this support my core business or distract from it? Number two, does it serve my existing audience? Number three, do I have capacity to do this well? Number four, does this align with my long-term vision? And number five, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Okay, create a list, guys. Get practical. Create your list. Instead of killing ideas, park them. Like I said, I've got my idea babies list, and I'm happy. And I just dump them when I get an idea. I open up my Trello board and I dump it on the board. Yeah. So it keeps your creative brain happy. You haven't thrown it away. You're not sabotaging your success. You're just saying, I'm going to park it for a minute. I'm going to come back to it when I'm ready to review. Yeah. That's it, guys. Build before you add. Stabilize, systemize, scale, then add. Yeah, this is the mindset of shifting into focus. I hope that this episode has helped you shift from shiny thing mode into, you know, growth mode, into focus mode. It's a mindset shift for sure. Okay. Right? You don't need to do everything right now. If it's going to lose your clarity, if it's going to feel inconsistent, if it's going to feel chaotic, we want you to feel safe, strengthened. We want you to have that growth, the growth that compounds from focus. And so, stay to the course. If you're going to introduce something, do it through strategy, good timeline, and alignment to your business and your core existing customers. Yeah, your next level probably isn't hiding in something new, guys. It's hiding in finishing, refining, and scaling what already works, what you've already built. Every time you chase something shiny, you delay your success. You delay that sustainable growth. And honestly, I do have discipline. It's not something I always had. But Mondays I do content, Wednesdays I do sales, Tuesdays I record my podcast, Fridays I do my metrics and my data, blah, blah, blah. And of course, there's daily tasks that I also do. Like, I checked agency briefs at 9:30 a.m. in the morning and then 2:30 in the afternoon each day. So I'm not swamped all day with that task. I just allocate a few minutes to that each day at those time slots. All the things. Like I will say my days are disciplined. Don't always follow it to a T, but I have a structure. And that has helped me tremendously stay focused. Discipline creates the freedom shiny things promise. Discipline creates the freedom shiny things promise. It's not in the shiny thing. If you're looking for money, more students, more bums on seats, it's not in the shiny thing. It may seem like it. Doesn't mean it's a bad idea. It could be a great idea, and it doesn't mean it has to be shelved forever. You can pick it up off the shelf. But it is in the discipline, it is in the focus, it is in the strategy that will propel you and your business forward and remove burnout and chaos and overwhelm and doing things at a quality rate that you're not proud of. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget the green room, that shiny thing that was strategically planned, mind you, is open now. It's the social club for studio owners and performing arts industry leaders, and you are most welcome. I have a 1 month free trial right now. Check it out. Head to studiotalentcollective.com/green room. Link is in the show notes. Thank you for listening. And if anything rings true, send me a DM on Instagram at Studio Talent Collective. And if you've got a shiny thing on the table right now and you're trying to go, oh my God, is this the shiny thing? Should I be doing this right now? Send me a DM. I'd love to hear about it. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
This show is brought to you by Studio Talent Collective, a plug-and-play talent agency helping studio owners become confident talent managers and build their own in-house talent agencies. Find out more at studiotalentcollective.com or connect with me on socials at Studio Talent Collective. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate it or leave a review. Thanks for listening.